There are moments in history when everything seems normal on the surface, when people go about their daily lives, building plans, chasing dreams, and assuming tomorrow will look just like today. Yet beneath that calm surface, something is shifting, quietly, steadily, inevitably. And the truth is, we are living in one of those moments right now. An urgent warning is echoing across the world, not through headlines alone, not through politics or global tensions alone, but through a deeper sense that something significant is approaching. A dark event is not just possible, it is drawing near, and it has the power to change the world as we know it. Many people dismiss warnings. They say, "We've heard this before," or "Things will always go on as they have." But history tells a very different story. Every major turning point came with signs, with signals that were often ignored until it was too late. The collapse of empires, global conflicts, economic crashes, none of these happened without warning. And yet, time after time, people chose comfort over truth, distraction over awareness, and denial over preparation. What makes this moment different is not just the scale of what is coming, but the depth of its impact. This is not merely about political unrest or economic uncertainty. This is about a shift that will shake the very foundation of how people think, how they live, and what they believe. It will challenge assumptions, expose illusions, and force humanity to confront realities that have long been ignored. Look around at the world today. There is confusion like never before. Truth is constantly being questioned, redefined, and even rejected. What was once considered certain is now debated. What was once stable is now fragile. Nations are divided, societies are restless, and individuals are searching for meaning in places that cannot satisfy. There is a growing sense of unease, a feeling that something is not right, even if people cannot fully explain it. This is not accidental. It is not random. It is part of a larger picture that is unfolding step by step. And those who are paying attention can see the pattern forming. The warning signs are everywhere, not hidden, not mysterious, but clear for those who are willing to see them. But here is the challenge. Most people are not willing to see. They are comfortable in routine, distracted by entertainment, and consumed by temporary concerns. They focus on what is immediate while ignoring what is essential. And because of that, they are unprepared for what is coming. A dark event does not arrive with a polite announcement. It does not wait until everyone is ready. It comes suddenly, often when people least expect it, and its impact is immediate. It disrupts plans, alters priorities, and forces decisions that cannot be delayed. In that moment, preparation is no longer an option. It becomes a necessity that should have been addressed long before. The question is not whether change is coming, change is already here. The question is whether people will recognize it in time to respond wisely. Because when a major shift occurs, there are always two kinds of people: those who are caught off guard and those who were prepared. The difference between them is not luck. It is awareness, readiness, and the willingness to take warning seriously. There is a tendency to underestimate the power of a single event. People think, how much can really change? But history shows that one moment can alter everything. One decision, one crisis, one unexpected development can reshape nations, redefine systems, and redirect the course of millions of lives. And when that moment is dark, when it brings uncertainty, fear, and disruption, it becomes even more critical to be grounded, alert, and prepared. Preparation is not about panic. It is not about fear. It is about clarity. It is about understanding that the world is not as stable as it appears, and that relying on external systems alone is not enough. True readiness comes from within, from a mindset that is steady, a perspective that is grounded, and a focus that is not easily shaken by external circumstances. Many people place their trust in things that cannot hold under pressure. Systems fail. Leaders change. Economies fluctuate. Technology advances, but it cannot solve every problem. When a dark event unfolds, these limitations become clear. And those who have placed all their confidence in temporary structures find themselves searching for something more solid. This is where the importance of awareness becomes undeniable. To be aware is to see beyond the surface, to recognize patterns, and to understand that current events are not isolated incidents, but part of a larger movement. It is to ask deeper questions and seek meaningful answers rather than settling for convenient explanations. But awareness alone is not enough. It must lead to action. It must lead to a shift in priorities, a reevaluation of what truly matters, and a commitment to being ready, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. Because when everything else is shaken, it is the internal foundation that determines whether a person stands firm or falls apart. There is also a need for discernment. Not every voice that claims to offer truth is trustworthy. In times of uncertainty, misinformation spreads quickly. Fear can be manipulated. Narratives can be shaped to control perception rather than reveal reality. That is why it is essential to think critically, to question wisely, and to seek truth with sincerity rather than accepting whatever is most convenient or popular. The coming event will test more than systems, it will test people. It will reveal character. It will expose weaknesses and highlight strengths. It will separate those who are grounded from those who are easily shaken. And in that moment, the difference will be clear. Some will respond with fear, confusion, and desperation. Others will respond with clarity, resilience, and purpose. The difference between these responses is not determined in the moment of crisis. It is determined long before it arrives. This is why the warning matters. It is not given to create fear, but to provide an opportunity. An opportunity to prepare, to reflect, and to realign. An opportunity to move away from distractions and focus on what truly matters. An opportunity to build a foundation that can withstand whatever comes. Ignoring a warning does not prevent an event. It only increases the impact when it arrives. History has shown this repeatedly. Those who dismissed warnings often paid the highest price. Those who took them seriously were able to navigate the storm with greater strength and stability. There is also a deeper dimension to all of this, one that goes beyond the physical and the visible. Because at its core, this is not just about events. It is about meaning, it is about purpose, it is about understanding where we stand and what we are truly relying on. When everything is stable, it is easy to feel secure. But when stability is shaken, the question becomes clear: what is truly unshakable? What remains when everything else changes? That is the foundation that matters most. The world is moving quickly. Changes that once took decades are now happening in years, even months. The pace is accelerating, and with that acceleration comes increased unpredictability. What seems distant today can become immediate tomorrow. What feels unlikely now can become reality sooner than expected. This is not a time for complacency. It is not a time to assume that things will simply work themselves out. It is a time for awareness, for preparation, and for intentional living. It is a time to pay attention, to think deeply, and to act wisely. The warning is clear: a dark event will change the world. The only question is how individuals will respond to it. Will they be ready, or will they be caught off guard? Will they stand firm, or will they be overwhelmed? The choice is being made right now, in the decisions people take, in the priorities they set, and in the mindset they develop. Because when the moment comes, and it will, the opportunity to prepare will have already passed. And so the message is urgent but simple. Do not ignore the signs. Do not dismiss the warning. Do not wait for certainty before taking action, because certainty often comes too late. Instead, choose awareness over ignorance. Choose preparation over complacency. Choose clarity over confusion. Build a foundation that is strong, a mindset that is steady, and a perspective that is not easily shaken. Because when the darkness comes, it will not last forever, but it will reveal everything. It will show what is real and what is not. It will expose what is strong and what is weak. And in that moment, those who are prepared will not only endure, they will stand with purpose, with clarity, and with a strength that cannot be shaken. The warning has been given. The time to act is now. And as the world moves forward, there is an increasing pressure building beneath the surface, something that cannot be ignored forever. It is like the tension before a storm, quiet, almost unnoticeable to those who are distracted, yet unmistakable to those who are paying attention. The signs are not hidden in some distant place. They are unfolding in real time, in global decisions, in shifting alliances, in rising uncertainties, and in the growing sense that the systems people once trusted are beginning to show cracks. There is a pattern that repeats throughout history. People become comfortable. They begin to believe that stability is permanent, and they slowly stop preparing for disruption. That is when change comes, often faster and more intense than anyone expected. What we are witnessing now is not random. It is a convergence of factors: economic instability, moral confusion, technological control, and geopolitical tension, all moving toward a point where something has to give. And when that breaking point comes, it will not be isolated. It will ripple across nations, affecting economies, security, communication, and daily life in ways that many are not prepared to handle. What seems like a distant issue in one part of the world can quickly become a global reality. This interconnectedness, which has brought convenience and progress, also means that disruption spreads faster than ever before. People often underestimate how quickly normal life can change. One moment everything is routine, and the next uncertainty takes over. Access to resources becomes limited, information becomes unclear, decisions become urgent. In those moments, people are forced to confront the reality they once ignored, and the question becomes not just what is happening, but how they will respond. There is also a psychological dimension to this. When a dark event unfolds, it does not only affect external conditions, it affects the human mind. Fear begins to spread, confusion grows, people look for answers, for direction, for something to hold on to, and in that search, many are vulnerable to deception, to false assurances, to narratives that offer comfort but not truth. This is why clarity is so important before the crisis arrives, because once the storm begins, it becomes much harder to think clearly, emotions take over, pressure increases, and decisions are made quickly, sometimes without the depth of understanding they require. Preparation, therefore, is not just about external readiness. It is about internal stability, the ability to remain calm and focused when everything around is uncertain. There is a growing shift in how power operates in the world. Control is becoming more centralized, more subtle, and more influential. It is no longer just about physical strength or visible authority. It is about influence over information, over perception, over what people believe to be true. And in a time of crisis, that influence becomes even more powerful. If people are not grounded in truth, they can be easily led in the wrong direction. They can accept solutions that appear beneficial in the moment, but carry long-term consequences. They can trade freedom for security without fully understanding what they are giving up. This is not speculation, it is a pattern that has played out in different forms throughout history. The difference now is the scale and speed at which it can happen. Technology has amplified everything. Communication is instant. Narratives spread globally within seconds, and because of that, the impact of any major event is multiplied. It reaches further, faster, and deeper than ever before. In such a world, discernment becomes one of the most valuable qualities a person can have. The ability to separate truth from noise, reality from illusion, and substance from distraction is no longer optional. It is essential. Without it, people risk being overwhelmed, misled, and unprepared for what is actually happening. There is also a tendency to look outward for solutions, to expect that someone else will fix the problem, that leaders or systems will restore stability. But true readiness does not come from depending entirely on external forces. It comes from personal responsibility, from understanding that each individual must be aware, must think critically, and must take steps to be prepared. This does not mean withdrawing from the world. It means engaging with it wisely. It means staying informed without being consumed, being alert without being fearful, and being prepared without losing perspective. It is a balance that requires intention and discipline. As the tension continues to build, There will be moments when it seems like nothing is happening, when the warning feels distant or exaggerated, but those moments are often the calm before the shift. They are the time when preparation is still possible, when adjustments can still be made, when awareness can still grow. Ignoring those moments is a mistake that many have made before. Waiting for undeniable proof often means waiting until it is too late to respond effectively. The purpose of a warning is not to provide absolute certainty. It is to encourage readiness before certainty arrives. There is also a deeper question that each person must consider. What are they truly anchored in? Because when external stability is shaken, internal stability becomes everything. Without it, fear dominates. With it, clarity remains. The coming change will not affect everyone in the same way. Some will adapt, some will struggle, some will resist, and others will be completely overwhelmed. The difference lies in preparation, in mindset, and in the willingness to take the warning seriously. There is still time, but time is not unlimited. The window for preparation is always open until it is not. And when it closes, the focus shifts from preparation to survival, from planning to reaction. That is why this message matters now. Not later, not after events begin to unfold, but in this moment, when awareness can still lead to action, when understanding can still lead to change, and when preparation can still make a difference. Because what is coming will not ask whether people are ready. It will simply arrive, and in that moment, readiness will no longer be a choice. It will be the result of the choices already made. And as this momentum continues to build, there is a noticeable acceleration in how quickly situations evolve. What once unfolded over years is now happening in a matter of weeks, even days. Events are stacking on top of each other, creating layers of complexity that are becoming harder for the average person to process. This overload of information, combined with constant change, leads many into a state of passive acceptance rather than active awareness. People begin to feel overwhelmed, and when that happens, they often disengage. They stop asking questions. They stop seeking deeper understanding. They simply accept whatever explanation is most convenient or widely promoted. And in doing so, they surrender one of the most important tools they have, the ability to think independently and discern truth from manipulation. At the same time, there is a growing normalization of instability. Things that would have caused alarm in the past are now treated as routine. Economic fluctuations, social unrest, global tensions. These are no longer seen as warning signs, but as part of everyday life. This gradual desensitization is dangerous because it lowers the sense of urgency. It convinces people that nothing truly significant is happening, even as the groundwork for a major shift is being laid. And yet, beneath this normalization, the reality remains unchanged. Pressure continues to build, systems are being tested, boundaries are being pushed, and all it takes is one triggering event, one unexpected development to move everything from tension to transformation. Such an event does not need to be global in origin to have global consequences. In today's interconnected world, a single disruption can cascade across continents. Supply chains can be interrupted. Communication networks can be strained. Financial systems can react in unpredictable ways. And what begins as a localized issue can quickly become a worldwide challenge. In these moments, the illusion of control begins to fade. People realize that many of the structures they relied on are more fragile than they believed. Certainty gives way to uncertainty. Plans are replaced with questions, and the search for stability becomes urgent. There is also a shift in priorities that occurs when a dark event unfolds. Things that once seemed important lose their significance, while things that were overlooked suddenly become essential. Time, relationships, truth, and purpose take on a new weight. The distractions that once filled daily life no longer hold the same power. But for many, this realization comes too late. They recognize what matters only after it has been disrupted, after opportunities have been lost, after the cost of unpreparedness has already been paid. This is why awareness before the event is so critical. It allows for adjustment before disruption, for clarity before confusion, for strength before testing. Another aspect that cannot be ignored is the role of fear. Fear is one of the most powerful forces during times of uncertainty. It spreads quickly, influences decisions, and can lead people to act in ways they normally would not. It can cloud judgment, distort perception, and create a sense of urgency that overrides logic. But fear, when not understood, becomes a tool that can be used against people. It can be amplified, directed, and manipulated. It can push individuals and societies toward decisions that serve short-term relief at the expense of long-term consequences. This is why controlling fear, rather than being controlled by it, is essential. Calmness in the face of uncertainty is not natural, it is developed. It comes from preparation, from understanding, and from having a foundation that is not easily shaken. It is the result of choosing awareness over ignorance and discipline over reaction. There is also a growing divide between those who are aware and those who are not. This divide is not based on intelligence or access to information. It is based on willingness. The willingness to question, to seek truth, to step outside of comfort zones, and to confront realities that may be unsettling. Those who choose awareness often see things others do not. They recognize patterns. They connect events. They understand that what is happening now is part of something larger. And because of that, they are better positioned to respond when change accelerates. On the other hand, those who remain unaware are more likely to be caught off guard. They are more vulnerable to sudden shifts, more dependent on external direction, and more likely to react out of fear rather than respond with clarity. As the world approaches this critical point, there will be increasing signals, moments that hint at what is coming. These signals may not always be obvious, but they will be there for those who are paying attention. They will appear in decisions that seem unusual, in changes that feel rushed, in developments that raise more questions than answers. Recognizing these signals requires focus. It requires stepping back from constant distraction and taking the time to observe, to think, and to understand. It requires resisting the urge to dismiss what is uncomfortable and instead confronting it with honesty. There is also a need to redefine what preparedness truly means. It is not limited to physical resources or contingency plans. While those are important, true preparedness goes deeper. It includes mental resilience, emotional stability, and a clear sense of direction. It is about being able to adapt, to think clearly under pressure, and to remain grounded when everything else is shifting. In many ways, the coming event will act as a filter. It will reveal who has prepared and who has not. It will expose weaknesses in systems, but also in individuals. It will highlight the difference between those who relied solely on external stability and those who built internal strength. And as this moment approaches, there will be a growing urgency, not always visible, not always acknowledged, but present nonetheless. It will be felt in the pace of change, in the intensity of events, and in the subtle realization that time is moving faster than expected. The world will not stop to allow everyone to catch up. It will continue moving forward, and those who are not prepared will have to adjust under pressure. This is always more difficult, more stressful, and more costly than preparing in advance. That is why the warning continues to echo, not as a message of fear, but as a call to awareness. Not as a prediction meant to paralyze, but as a signal meant to awaken. Because ignoring it does not change what is coming. It only changes how prepared one will be when it arrives. And as each day passes, the importance of that preparation becomes more evident. As the signs grow clearer, the pace increases, and the distance between what is and what is coming becomes smaller and smaller. So now the question is not whether a dark moment is coming. The question is who you will be when it arrives. Because when everything begins to shake, when uncertainty spreads, and when the world is searching for answers, it will not be the loudest voices that matter, it will be the strongest foundations. This is the moment that separates awareness from ignorance, preparation from delay, truth from illusion. Everything that has been ignored will surface. Everything that has been built on weak ground will be exposed. And in that defining moment, there will be no time left to go back and prepare. What you have built within yourself is what you will stand on. Do not wait for the world to change before you take this seriously. Do not wait for fear to force you into action. Choose now to open your eyes. Choose now to think deeper, to see clearer, and to stand stronger. Because those who act before the storm do not just survive it, they rise above it. The darkness that is coming may shake the world, but it does not have to shake you. It may disrupt systems, but it cannot destroy a person who is grounded, aware, and prepared. And while others are overwhelmed, searching for direction, you can stand with clarity, with purpose, and with an unshakable mindset. This is not just a warning, it is an opportunity to rise above distraction, to break free from complacency, and to build something within you that no external event can take away. Because when the world changes, the greatest advantage will belong to those who were ready before it did. So take this seriously. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Strengthen your mind, sharpen your awareness, anchor yourself in truth. Because when the moment arrives, it will reveal everything. And those who are ready will not just endure it, they will stand as a light in the middle of the darkness.